We've spoken a lot here on TheLip TV about the migrants risking their lives to cross the Mediterranean from Libya, hoping to make it into Europe. They come from many different countries, many escaping the fighting in Syria, others from sub-Saharan Africa, for example. But what happens if they're lucky enough to make it to Europe? Where do they go once their asylum claims have been deemed as legitimate? Well, now, finally, there's a plan. Madison, the European Commission has called on EU member states to take in 40,000 asylum seekers from Syria and Eritrea who land in Italy and Greece over the next 2 years. So it's pretty cool that we're seeing now, finally, this concrete plan. They're kind of talking about who's going to take in who, how many, the numbers of how many asylum seekers each country will take in. I got to say, the majority of them will go to Germany, France, and Spain. Germany is going to take in 8,763. France will take in 6,752. Spain would take in 4,288. This kind of just gives you an idea how many people are coming over, and this is just the first 3 countries. It's going to be spread out all across the EU, even some countries that aren't in the EU. But yeah, like I said, I mean, this is kind of showing us, you know, that they're finally taking concrete action against these people because, I mean, for these people, majority of them now are in these camps where they stay until their asylum claims are being processed. So the majority of them are already in these camps in Italy and Greece. I'm always mentioning Italy and Greece because that's where the overwhelming number of them end up. Some in Turkey, but almost all of them are in the islands, end up in or around the islands claimed by Italy or Greece. So.
Well, this is great that the EU is helping these quotas, certain numbers of people within the EU, but it raises the question, what happens to the people that aren't, who decides what number they are and if they are the chosen one, and what's going to happen to the other people? So it's up to debate on, you know, these are people's lives at stake. So it's good that they're making efforts, but what's going to happen to the people that aren't chosen?
Right, so that number 40,000, I mean, we know that they can't take an infinite amount of people because there's only so much space for migrant workers in Europe. I mean, they know that they need actually migrant workers. A lot of the economies in Europe are built upon cheap labor by migrants. I think we know that that's the case here too in the US. But yeah, that's good that you mentioned this whole quota system, that there's exactly a number of, right, we're going to, over the next 2 years, we're going to take in this many people. So a lot of countries like UK are kind of against this, saying, well, how are you going to put an exact cap on it? We're going to have a lot of migrants coming. We don't know, this is not going to end anytime soon. So yeah, it's quite difficult to say that it's going to be this exact amount of people. So a lot of countries are kind of opting out, the UK being one of them. But nonetheless, though, it is worth mentioning that they are taking a big step here, and they're getting things done. I mean, we know that migrants going to other countries searching for a safe place to be is not something that's just in Europe. We saw the boats and hundreds of people stranded on these boats in Southeast Asia. They were rejected first by Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand as well. Now we've seen plans to take them back in by Indonesia and Malaysia. But still, I mean, that's something that we even deal with here in the U.S. a lot of, especially with our border with Mexico. So it's a global problem, and we need to address it. And this is just the infancy of this whole process. We're in the beginning, and we have to see where it goes from here.
Absolutely, yeah. The Obama administration has been very vocal about helping with immigration with Mexicans coming into the border. So I think that we have to not turn a blind eye on this. This is obviously happening in our nation and the world, and it's good that we are addressing it and making it where we have to help save these people coming in.
Right, and they did a deal where each country, get this, would receive $6,500 for every person relocated into their territory. So these countries are actually getting money from the EU for doing this. They are getting some compensation, besides the fact that they're going to work and they're going to contribute to society, which they should. So I see it as a very, I'm going to say, generous help by the EU, because they really don't have to be doing this, but they are. And they take it upon themselves to take action. They feel a moral responsibility to take in these people who are fleeing terrible, terrible civil wars like the one in Syria, a lot of violence also in Africa. The reason they were specific about Eritrea as well as Syria is because 70% of all their asylum claims are automatically good to go. So it saves time, it makes the process much quicker. So we have to see where this goes. I'm very curious to see what happens with the numbers of those who are coming in. I just want to say we do have a little map here just to show you where the majority of these people are coming from. A lot of them are coming from Libya there, in the western side of Libya, and they're trying to go to Malta or Lampedusa. Lampedusa is part of Italy, and it's only a few hundred miles from Libya. Each circle there, if you look at the key circles, the green or blue circles represent the number of migrants dead and missing in each incident. The majority are very much closer to the coast of Libya, so most of them don't even get to Lampedusa or Malta, so it's very sad. That big red circle is the incident on the 19th of April where we saw, which we reported here on TheLip, where 800 people died. So
Yes.
just to give you a number of how many people are risking their lives trying to leave countries like Libya, like Syria, it's extremely
It's unfortunate too that these countries aren't stable enough to where the people want to stay, and that that also goes back to the countries itself on why these people want to escape and find a better future in life. It's so it goes back to even the country itself. How do we solve the problem? Yes, we're helping, but maybe the people that aren't in the quota, we need to look at the countries as well to try to help with the infrastructure.
That's a very good point, Madison. Well, we want to know what you guys have to say about all this. What are your opinions on the large number of migrants fleeing the violence and going into Europe, many of them having their asylum claims accepted by Europe and taken in and become citizens? We want to know what you guys think, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to TheLip TV for more.